Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. It's a Thursday night again, and we're here with you on this mothership. Well, we landed on Planet Experience, and we've gonna beam some Earthlings aboard tonight, and they're gonna help me with this party. So it's Thursday night, and it's time to the night is right for the Wrestling Experience celebrating 3 years of experience, 11 years on YouTube, and 10 years on X. Thank you so much for your time and energy. And it's time for the experience. It's time for the wrestling experience.
You've landed on the mothership. Welcome to Planet Experience. Welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
All right. Welcome back to the Wrestling Experience, but I'm not here alone, ladies and gentlemen. No. I've been some Earthlings aboard to help me with this mothership. And ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome first my co-pilot. She is Wisconsin's darling, ladies and gentlemen. She is revered by everyone here at the Hardcore Sports. She's got a friend named Denti. Who's her bestie? Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and the only, the, 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 the beautiful, the talented, the lovable Sarah is here. Let's out of the sky.
Earl, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, he's got the rounder. He's got the rounder. Matt the John Spanish in the building. Gets down and dirty with the Mac. Let's bring him on to the screen. Mac, how are you tonight?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm great, Earl. Good. How
Oh,
you doing,
good.
Sarah?
Good. And ladies and gentlemen, he was here with me last night. Ladies and gentlemen, we had tons of fun. He made me laugh so hard I had to get the pens. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Nick. Nick is here. Let's let him know those away.
It's Thursday.
Nick,
You know what that means.
yes, it is. It's Talk the Experience. Hello, guys. How are you tonight? Thank you so much for your time and energy. It's good to see everyone here in the chat. First of all, I want to wish everyone a very happy Father's Day. That's first and foremost. Second of all, I want to say a good evening and happy Thursday to you all. This is the annual. This is the first time that I've had Nick and Matt on the Wrestling Experience. So history is being made. History is being made, and you guys are making history. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on that. But before we continue, I just want to let everybody know that you can follow the Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Instagram at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Facebook at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on X at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on Spotify at Hardcore Sports. Follow them on TikTok at Hardcore Sports. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And make sure that you hit that like button. Hit the like button on my channel. Hit the like button on Nick's channel. Hit the like button on Mac's channel and the Hardcore Sports. And we hope that you get Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, now Thursday evening here at the Hardcore Sports Network. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Take a deep breath, Earl.
So, real quick to give you a second, Earl, because I know that was a lot. Daniel Barry Sports is here. Happy Thursday, everyone. Says yo. Ram is here.
Ram, how are you?
Is in the building. We acknowledge you. Ram says, Sarah, hope you're well.
I'm very
Wrestling
well,
experience.
thank you.
Roundup. Coach Ed is here after we just finished the Marshalls. This is my second show of the evening, so it never stops.
Oh my God.
It never stops.
Ram says, "What's up? How are you, Ram?" And Coach Ed is probably laughing at Earl, saying that I had him laughing the other night so hard that he now needs to pens and dude wipes. Work on that dude wipes.
Well, you know something. Here's the thing. Every time I get together with either one of you guys, I always look back at the video and I have to sit there and laugh so hard because our interactions and our chemistry is so funny and it's so forthright that I have to sit. I was sitting there today and I was typing a letter for my boss and I was laughing and he heard it in my earpiece and I was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm lost in my element. I'm sorry. I'm doing two things at once. I'm multitasking. Never mind. You don't need to know what I'm doing." So. It is a testament of what we do here at the Wrestling Experience. But just to make everybody understand what we're doing here tonight, first of all, we have wrestling news to do. We're going to get to that. We've got Dynamite to discuss, and we're going to predict the Clash of the Castle. So we got all of that to do tonight. So on the first docket of the Wrestling Experience, we're going to talk about Dynamite. Dynamite last night took place in Des Moines, Iowa, and me and Nick had a lot of fun with that. And I also made the announcement that our main girl, Sarah, is returning to Dynamite, and we are so excited to have her back. We have her so much. We love that announcement. It is absolutely a testament that the three of us, Mac, and of course, Mac, you know that when we three get together, it is a bowl of fun, and it is a bowl of fun on the stream. It always is. And we're gonna have fun next Wednesday night. And I did put a post on Twitter making her triumphant return, and I said, "Drum roll, please," and everybody was like, "Oh," I was like.
Like I always say,
So-
like, even if the show sucks, we don't. Like, we will
Yeah, exactly.
laugh in some way. We will entertain people. So
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go around the horn first. I'm gonna go around the honker, as I like to call it, the honker. Mac, what did you make of Dynamite last night?
Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty good show. I mean, the 6-man tag match was awesome. The main event, I can't wait to talk about that. That main event blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. I mean, but it was overall a really solid show. A lot of good matches, some good matches, good stuff, man. And I love seeing got Blood and Guts coming up in July, and now we get to see the bill for that. So exciting.
Yeah, and by the way, the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, charged Tony Khan extra money because of the roof situation inside the arena. The cage weighs over 2,400 pounds, and it went over the limit that the arena could hold. So what they have to do is they have to put in extra trusses in the ceiling to hold up the cage. So Tony Khan had to pay not only the renter's fee, but he had to also pay for the extra trusses. So, but Tony Khan is worth it. I'm sure he could have found it in his PJ somewhere, and he could have found the money. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that little ditty.
He's
Sarah,
checked
what?
under his mattress. The money's probably stuffed under his
Uh,
mattress.
yeah. Sarah, what did you make of Dynamite last night?
I like Dynamite. I mean, it had very good energy. Like they really kept things kind of moving forward, very quick pace. I enjoyed MJF's appearance. Like totally agree with Mac, that 6-man tag match, that was really good. And I love Mark Briscoe. So I enjoy watching him. But that Osprey Ray Phoenix match, holy crap.
Good.
That talk about a
Yes,
barn
bro.
burner. That was a barn burner.
good.
Like that was crazy good. That was pay-per-view worthy match, like all in worthy
Absolutely.
match. That was very good. It was so good.
Nick,
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with everyone's assessment. But finish your point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I was done.
Oh, okay. Nick, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean everything I said, last night whenever we
Mm.
gave the end grade, I gave it an A, from tempo, pacing, to planning out and having a squash match for Roosh, and it making sense and not just like what Wardlow was getting squash match, and it just was what it ended up being for nothing, because where's he at? He hasn't been on TV in how long now? So it led into building for MJF and Roosh next week, which will kick off Dynamite and will also be commercial free for that match. So that was announced by AEW earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. And then just the main event of Ospreay and Swerve continuing to build to their match, and then Prince Nana having the facial expressions as Ospreay looked over and was given the death stare to Swerve and said, it's my house, and Prince Nana was sipping his coffee and just his eyes just got huge
Yeah,
and
sauces.
being on that level of Paul Heyman. So seeing Paul Heyman and Prince Nana at some point, it in their element, would be fantastic, I think. And but yeah, Dynamite was great last night, from the MJF appearance and interacting. I saw a video as he arrived to the arena. His girlfriend, Alicia Atout, I think is her name, she was reporting, and they had an interaction. And afterwards, I saw on Twitter earlier today, everyone was like, "Man, he's so rude, blah blah blah. She's gonna get him at home and everything." And then he tweeted something, and she quote tweeted and said, "You're a prick for how you acted last night, but this is funny." So it was I think it was a gif of a cartoon from I think it was Tom and Jerry, where a bull was running into a cave and everything. So it's playing into his match against Roosh. But everything about Dynamite last night was great.
I'm going to sing the praises of my panelists, because here's the thing: this is what we were craving for. We have not gotten this Where was this Dynamite a couple of weeks ago? Where was this Dynamite 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago. Where was Dynamite 3 weeks ago? This was a vast improvement for what we've gotten over the last 3 weeks. And you can't argue with me with that. You cannot argue with me with that. That has to be one of the best Dynamites I think we've seen in a long time. In a vastly long time. And I loved everything from soup to nuts. It was absolutely great. I loved it. I know that there are going to be a lot of tens going across the board with the entertainment level. But again, like I said, last night was absolutely flawless. It was great. I loved it. The only blemish on the show, the only thing I did not care for on the show was the Charlie Brown segment with Chris Jericho. That thing needs to go. Womp, 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 womp. Get that segment off of Dynamite. Thank you very
But
much.
I will say the end of it was kind of funny with Private Party
I
wanting to
was
climb the
just gonna
ropes
say
the way
that
But,
stupid.
The way
yeah,
Chris Jericho
yeah,
showed him too.
yeah,
It was kind of
Oh my
funny.
yeah.
god, that
Okay,
was
But
Mac. Yeah, I'll give
I
you
made
do
me
that.
I do
laugh.
agree the gimmick itself. I do agree the gimmick is like that needs to go. But that
Yeah.
little segment, it was probably their best segment so far.
Oh my god, I started
When the
cracking
learning
up
tree
the
started
way.
segment started, Earl said, "Well, we can take a minute and just chat for a good 10 to 15 minutes while
Right,
this because no one's
right,
gonna want to watch us explain what's going on." And that's kind of
right,
where
right. No, no,
we had
right,
our sidebar. But
right,
yeah,
right.
Sleeping Angels, he agrees, except for everything except for the learning tree. And Dro
Sleeping
says the learning
Angels, how
tree
you
is a
doing?
little overrated.
Right.
So
Yeah, I just couldn't deal with that Jericho segment. So I wanted to pick Nick's brain. So I said, you know what, Nick? I said, let's have a side conversation here. Let me just. I don't think the audience would care if I didn't call anything on this segment. Anywho, anywho, and then we had our side conversation, and I kept it moving. Um, so
I
let's
just
talk
don't
about.
understand though with the whole learning tree thing. Like, why is Jericho always yelling?
I
He's
don't know.
always
It's ridiculous.
yelling.
So
I think
ridiculous.
he had. I think he has
Hi
98%.
guys. Hi guys. Like, dude, this is so stupid. Private Party, that part was funny. That was funny. I did
That was
laugh,
funny.
like I legit laughed out loud. The way, like the tone of their voices, like the tone that they were using when they were talking to Jericho. It just was so. It was
Yeah.
hilarious to me. I was like,
And
uh oh, like something's gonna happen.
Private Party needs to change their. Every time I see Private Party, I think of that song "Gin and Juice," sipping on gin and juice, laid back. Anyways, I'm old school, but I'm cool. Anyway, anyways, don't fall for fake imitations, ladies and gentlemen. Just please don't. All right, let's talk about this match. Roosh was in action, and he did a squash match. What did you all think of the match itself?
Well,
No, normally, you
I
know
mean, it
me,
wasn't
I
really
don't.
much to the match.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, say
normally
again.
I don't care for squash matches, a la Wardlow, but that fit into like the way Roosh is presenting himself right now. He's angry and he wants to show people that MJF isn't isn't anything. So he's going to go out there and just level as many people as possible to prove to the audience that he's better than MJF. Which no, you're not. But it fit. That's him having the squash match kind of fit the narrative for it. So I didn't mind it so much. But
Yeah, I I didn't mind it. Mac, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not really much to the match. Like you said, it was an absolute squash match, but it just goes to kind of, build this persona they're doing with Roosh right now, making him just this ultimate bad guy, the ultimate, like, I don't know, not to say, you don't use the word bully, so to speak, but at the end, just that mean guy that's just badass, just wants to come in, that's going to come and try to, wreck everything. It just kind of, just setting the stage to build that kind of persona for him. But the match itself was just what it was. Like you said, an absolute squash
Coach
match. So,
Coach Ed, how you doing?
that's awesome. That is one of my favorite old school rap songs. I love it.
Nick, what did you think?
yeah, I mean, like like uh like you guys said, making him, portraying him as like a bully, but not so much like a bully, like just to kind of show that like, hey, he's been here since MJF has been gone. But just kind of coming out and squashing, the local wrestler and everything like that, and then building with MJF. Um, it's similar to what they're doing with Braun Breaker and just having him go out there and just cause chaos and beating everyone. So it's cool to see someone new step in with with an MJF and returning and having this feud as his return feud, not just having him come back and jump right back into the title scene. Um, I figured they would have him continue the feud with Adam Cole, but they both came back, and then all of a sudden Adam Cole hasn't been back since Double or Nothing. So it kind of felt like I would say they paused it versus just closed it all together. So I hope they go back to that. Maybe Adam Cole's not 100% cleared for that on that ankle yet. I'm not sure, but I mean, yeah, it just the squash match was what it was, but it led to more, so I didn't have an issue with the squash match. Like Sarah said, like I said earlier, it's better than what we were getting with Wardlow and his match after match after match, which was just
Right.
what they're doing with Braun Breaker, and then but it's not leading to anywhere. He has 3 weeks in a row, squashes, and then all of a sudden he's off TV for a long period of time yet again. So hopefully they step it up with the way they're booking him and can throw him into that, the on more TV time and get rid of TV time with Jericho and get some TV time with Wardlow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just say this. Yeah, the match was well, it wasn't much. I mean, if you bake the brownie, you miss the whole thing. Really. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, I don't sugarcoat anything on this island. No. Yeah, yeah, you can make me irrelevant. That's fine. I agree. I agree with that assessment. But the match was all right. I mean, like it fit the narrative. And what we got afterwards was even more great. MJF and Roosh really tore the house down, and the crowd just loved every minute of the nuance and the pull apart. And I asked Nick this question, and I'm going to ask Mac and Sarah this question. Guys, let me ask you a question. Should there be a stipulation in the match coming up at the Forbidden Door?
I don't know if that would be too soon to do that with this being it'll be MJF's first pay-per-view match.
Okay.
Since coming back, but I think if they were to do something such as like no holds barred or I quit or something, if they were to do something like that, I think it would be fine considering what they're portraying is both of these guys have so much like explosive anger towards each other.
Right.
Just let them go and do like a no DQ match or something, or a hardcore match or something like that. I think that would be fine.
Mac, what do you think?
I mean, I definitely agree with Sarah where you're going with that. Like, yeah, something to that effect. Doesn't need to be anything crazy, but like a false count anywhere because these guys clearly just want to tear the house down, fight all over the arena, whatever, and just kind of have something like that in place. You don't need like a steel cage necessarily or anything of that sort. But just like you said, a no DQ, like falls count anywhere type of match. Let these guys really, really just go to war with each other, man.
Right. Or a Long Island street fight.
Yeah.
Which would fit the narrative because we are in Long Island, so I mean it fits. It fits well like a glove. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, if you make this a Long Island street fight, that's fine. Because they'll fight all over the place. On the Long Island Railroad, in the parking lot. Yeah, yeah. You want to be dismissed? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, with that one. Don't want the host. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anywho, but on an entertainment level, Mac, what number do you give this match?
What the Roosh match?
Yeah, what entertainment level would you give this?
I mean, I mean, if I include the whole aftermath and everything else, I
Right,
give it a 10.
exactly.
I mean,
Everything in soup to nuts. Everything from soup to nuts, man. What number would you give this?
yeah, I'd give it a 10 because the whole segment was great. I mean, the
Yep.
post
Okay.
match was better than the actual match itself, but
Yes.
Right.
it was there.
Sarah, what about you? Mm-mm.
I agree with Mac. I give it a 10. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, that huge pop that MJF got as soon as his music hit, like you knew something was going to go down. So, yeah, I thought it was great, especially once he came out, I thought it was fantastic. So, yeah, I'd give it a 10 for sure.
Nick, what about you?
Yeah, start to finish for the segment and as a whole, definitely give it a 10. The pop for MJF was fantastic. His new Titantron, they're mixing up the colors, going from like the triple B colors to just a darker version of that. Maybe showing that it's a because MJF was betrayed by Cole and he gave the trust and everything he said at Double or Nothing. It's a darker. We're gonna see a darker version of MJF, so that's going to be shown by the colors of his Titantron and everything. And he's going with this lone wolf and the wolf of wrestling type thing. So hopefully that can lead back to a Wardlow and MJF. Another feud between those two. But yeah, I mean, from start to finish for this segment as a whole, I'd give it a 10.
I'm going to be on the same wavelength as everyone. I'm going to give it a 10 as well because this was great. This was absolutely great. I loved every nuance of the thing. The great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everything worked well in the match. Nothing was out of sort or out of place. Nothing was done in good. Everything was done in good taste, and that was something that I loved as a wrestling fan. And that is the way you build up a feud, and that is the way you start the show off. That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. That's how you do a feud. That's exactly how you do a feud. All right, so we're for our first 10 across the board. That's great. Dustin Reynolds took on Jack Perry. The match was great. The match was fine. He was busted open from ear to ear. He Dustin Reynolds was destroyed by Jack Perry. But you know what? You know what is really sad about this is that this kid is going to get that title because of the elite. And I think that that's disgusting. I think that that is disgusting. I think somebody else should wear the TNT title, but that is not what we're going to get. That is exactly not what we're going to get at the pay per view. Um, I'm just so bummed about that, really, because I don't think he really deserves the title. But that's just my opinion, and
Ew.
my it's just my opinion and my opinion only. I can't speak for everyone else. But I'm gonna go to Mac first. Mac, what did you make of the match itself?
I mean, it just a good match, a good solid match. I think obviously going into we knew what the outcome was already going to be. Obviously, they're going to have Jack Perry go into that ladder match as opposed to like Dustin Reynolds. But at the end of the day, man, it's just a respect thing for Dustin. All these years in this industry, still going in there competing at that level against a top talent. I mean, Jack Perry is one of the top talents in the world. It's not like so it's just to go in there and still be able to compete at that level at his age, how long he's been doing it, what his body's been through all these years. I just have a lot of respect for guys like him and guys that understand kind of their role in this business at this day is continuing to put the younger talent over. And I just think he's done a great job, a tremendous job with that here in AEW. And but it was a good, solid match between two, really good professionals, So I mean, he's not going to say like it's a match you got to go back and watch again, or you got to must see TV necessarily. But
Right.
it was a good match.
Sarah, what did you think?
I thought the match was fine, but I would like to see Dustin Rhodes start winning every once in a while. I think it would be kind of nice. He has said it himself. He's 53, so he may not be doing this too much longer, and it would be kind of nice to see him win a match every once in a while. So, but yeah, I mean, you figured, yeah, they were not. Dustin Rhodes was not winning this match. Like, you knew he wasn't going to win, but yeah. See, Dro agrees with me. Dustin
Dro.
needs to win more matches.
Yeah, Dro, I agree with your assessment, Dro. Thank you so much for your time and energy.
And
Thank you
I'm
to
not saying,
everyone.
and I'm not saying like every match he has, or when he has matches with the bigger names, like like MJF. He doesn't have to win those, but it would be nice to see him win every once in a while. And to Mac's point, you got to have respect for the guy to be able to forth as much effort as he puts forth in the ring, do what he does in the ring at his age, have that level of physicality, while also being able to help foster and I guess you could say teach and nurture the younger generation of wrestlers. That is going to pay out for many, many years down the road for us as wrestling fans. So I gotta have, like, again, to Mac's point, you have nothing but respect for him, because that's amazing that he still can do this, and we still get to
Yeah,
enjoy it. So
yeah, I'm going to agree with the assessment. I'm going to agree. Nick, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, everything that Mac and Sarah said, no additions to it really. I mean, getting getting busted open, cut open, bleeding right away, was and bleeding as much as what he did. The spot onto the concrete with the mats ripped up, was crazy. There was like a blood stamp on the concrete on the floor there. And just what he was able to do and how long the match went, the quality of the match with Jack Perry and with Dustin, um, and then allowing and getting Perry to be the one to win and then advance to the TNT, the ladder match for that title, which I don't have a problem with him winning. I'm digging the Jungle Bum Perry, like we were saying about the other night in NXT.
Jungle Bum Perry,
That's
that's
what
great.
that was the name that they were dropping in the comments. Jungle Bum Perry, and
I
then last night
love that.
on Dynamite we had some. I think it was Ram was dropping some, or it was Mr. All Days Off. He was dropping some good ones. Just
That's
Yeah,
really,
I
really, really
love
funny
that.
ones. So, but yeah, Jungle Bum Perry was one of the big ones from Sunday night at Battleground. So, but yeah, I'm digging it. So I didn't have an issue with it. It was a fun match. It moved at a good tempo and it moved the show along, and it didn't, the crowd somewhat got into it and woke up and got to be lively with it. So I
no.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, Jack Perry looked like something out of Woodstock. Anyway, with the peace and love, I was looking for that peace symbol and him smoking a banja. Anyway,
Oh my god.
anywho, anywho,
Oh, good grief.
I'm sorry, but I mean that's what it looked like,
Oh, it's
like
so funny.
I'm old school, but I'm so I wasn't born during Woodstock, so I mean, I just think of so the match was fine for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match, and everything was fine. Um, like I said, the only disappointment I have is that Perry's going to get that title, and that's because of the Elite. And I think that stinks. That really
Oh,
stinks because whoever is going to be in that ladder match, whoever's going to get in that ladder match, they're not going to win that match. They're not going to win it at all. It's going to be so obvious who's going to go up that ladder and pull it down and win. And me and Merrick, we're going to do the show together, and we just may drop kick the ladder and make him go off of it. Anyway, that's a great. Anyway, on an entertainment level, Matt, what do you give this match on an entertainment level?
I mean, it was a solid 8 for me.
Okay. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I could go 8. I enjoyed I enjoyed it enough to a solid 8.
Okay. Sarah, what were you, my co-pilot? Sarah, what do you think?
I agree with the guys. I would give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down the dial a little bit, and I'm gonna give this match a 7. The match gets a 7 for me. And why I gave it a 7 is because I felt bad for Dustin. I always feel for the little guy. I feel bad for him. He was so out of breath last night, and he just pounced on him like a little kitten like that. I think that was just not, it was just not politically correct thing to do. Especially when Aubrey Edwards was in the ring, and she didn't give him much leeway last night. Anyway,
Yeah, she was
anyway.
counting for what seemed like forever. I thought we were gonna see her counting on her fingers and her toes together to count to 10. But I mean, we noticed that and said that last night during the watch along. Very lenient and forgiving count of watching her try to count to 10.
I said to myself, I said, by the time she gets up to 10, we've already elected a new president. Anyway,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen,
Right?
ladies and gentlemen,
She's just terrible.
she's, I have to call her Law Cabin. Anyway, she's so slow. Aubrey Danny Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, anyway.
Went to the Helen Keller School of Officiating.
I'm not going there because she does
It's
listen
like
to this
the best,
telecast.
like the best comment ever.
Mercedes took on Zeus. Now, if I mess up the name, I'm sorry because I don't speak Spanish or anything like that or any other language but English. So I'm sorry if I screw up the name. Um, but the match was fine. The match was all right. Mercedes, I think this was her first time in the Dynamite ring, or was it the second time? I think this was her second time in the Dynamite ring. The match was fine for what it was. I didn't have any qualms about the crowd was dead throughout the whole match on all of these women's division match. The match should have been booked in the library, to be honest with you. You want me to be perfectly honest with you. Um, I don't have anything else to add to it. Sarah, what did you make of the match itself? Mm,
I thought that the her opponent, I think the name is Zeuxis. I thought
Zoozies?
like some of those moves she was doing to Mercedes. Yeah, like some of those moves she was doing. Oh my goodness, like that was nuts.
Right.
So I thought she did an excellent job. I was very surprised. I mean, I was very surprised. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right. Like, I'm not a humongous Mercedes fan. I think there's a lot of hype behind her and not much backing it up. But I really hope and pray that there's some kind of like time limit draw or something with the match that she has at Forbidden Door, that she doesn't also get the New Japan title too. Like,
Right.
she doesn't need another title. She really doesn't. So that's my only like gripe. I just don't want to see her get another title. So I hope they do something like a disqualification, interference, time limit draw, something like that, where both the ladies can keep their titles.
Yeah, as you will have to wait and see what happens with the Forbidden Door. Um,
Yeah.
Mac, what did you think of the match?
I mean, yeah, the match was okay. Nothing great by no means necessarily, but I'm not that familiar. I wasn't very familiar with her opponent, Zeuxis, or how you pronounce her name. Not really sure, but the match was okay. So I mean, it's just another, like, it was another match for her to get Mercedes. She's still getting her feet wet a little bit. I mean, she's literally only like, it was only like her second match since coming back from the injury. So she's really still just getting her feet wet a little bit more, getting ready for the big match at Forbidden Door. Not really sure how they're going to spin that one. Like you said, Sarah, I'm not sure if they're going to put the New Japan title on her or not, but
I hope
it's
not.
just like I said, she's kind of like I said, just filling herself out. She took some nice bumps last night. That was kind of good to see that she is, I mean, pretty much healthy, looking good to go. But it's just like I said, it's just going to be a matter. That was just more of a match, like I said, just for her to just continue to like regain her confidence in the ring and just get comfortable in the ring again, because she had a long break, a long time off of the injury, coming from the injury. So gotta get yourself back used to taking those bumps and whatnot. She took a lot of good ones last night.
Okay. Wesley, how are you? Thank you so much for your time and energy. Um, Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, once again, they pretty much hit on everything that I, would say or was going to say. So, Mercedes getting matches in under her belt in her title reign and giving opportunities to all different wrestlers, women in that division is a great thing. So, a good quality match, and it served its purpose as a good quality match, helping the show in being what it was.
Yes.
And advancing her title run, giving a shot to someone on the roster, and all around, I didn't have an issue with it. Didn't mind it. No complaints from me.
Yeah, there was no complaints from me either. I was just very happy that she finally is getting her feet wet, and she's getting in the matches, and she's getting that out there. She's putting herself out there in the wrestling ring, because I was kind of like frustrated with that little process there. But other than that, the match was fine. The match was all right. So, Nick, I'm going to go to you first. On an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
I mean, yeah, it was. I'd say 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. All right. Sarah, what about you? Did we? Okay.
Hmm?
Sarah, what about you? What about you? What entertainment level do you give this match?
I'd give it a 7. Like it wasn't anything terrible. It wasn't amazing. So I think a 7's fair.
Okay. Okay. Mac, what about you?
I'm right there, Sarah, 7. Like, just nothing special, but at the end of the day, it wasn't terrible. I wasn't like I still enjoyed it. I mean, like, for what it was. So nothing spectacular. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you gotta check this match out, Mercedes Monet and Zeus, whatever. I'm sorry if I keep butchering her name, but I'm not. But at the end of the day, it was still solid. Like I said, it was for what it was. Solid match.
Right. Well, I'm gonna agree with everyone. This was a 7. This match was a 7, and like I said, it was fine for what it was. It was fine for what it was. But now let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this. The blood and guts match. Let's talk about this for a second. The Elite comes down and they challenge Swerve Strickland to the blood and guts. But now here's the question I have for you all. Here's a question. Now I want everyone's opinion on this. Who in their right mind, notice to me carefully, who in their right mind would go into a blood and guts match with Swerve Strickland, and can they trust Swerve Strickland to be their partner in the match? Now I said this to Nick last night. I asked Nick last night. Nick gave me his answer, but I'm going to go to Sarah first. Sarah, who do you think? Who do you think would join Strickland in the blood and guts?
So you mean, do I think Swerve Strickland's gonna join the Elite for Blood and Guts?
No, what I'm asking you is that who do you think would join Strickland to go against the Elite in the blood and guts? Who can Swerve Strickland trust to be, and can they trust Swerve Strickland? That's a good question because there's a lot of men in the locker room that don't trust Swerve Strickland. And who is he going to pick to go into the match? That's a question I want to know.
Well, I think if he stays as a babyface, I could see really anybody that has an issue with the elite that didn't get a chance to be in the Anarchy in the Arena match. So you could do, Mark Briscoe is a good one for like to represent AEW. I think the Acclaimed, they expressed interest and they're very much against the elite and all the BS they're pulling. So as far as them being able to trust Swerve, I don't know if it's so much of them being able to trust Swerve. It's, because it's not like they're in a match together. They're going to be like all over the place. So who's
Right.
to say that at the end they win, but then at the end, like Swerve turns heel or something at the end? Like I'm just
Right.
spitballing here, but they don't really
Right.
need to trust Swerve because it's not like they're tagging with them or something. It's
Right.
everybody is just going at one another. So I would think realistically it'd be anybody that has a problem with the elite and the
Um.
nonsense they're pulling.
Right. Mac, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, Swerve's reputation obviously is not easy to trust Swerve Strickland, but I think pretty much everybody hates the elite. So I mean, I feel like he has quite a bit of people to choose from that he could try to get on board with them. So and I think he could kind of even just simplify it. You think blood, you think guts, you think the BPC, man. You think those guys, man. I mean, he
Oh
could just
yeah.
Oh yeah.
just grab them up,
Oh yeah.
man, and just run it, man, and just go to war. Go to war with those guys. You take those four, and you add Swerve Strickland to the mix. I mean, it's a formidable team for AEW to represent AEW
Right.
taking on the elite. I mean, I don't know if it will actually be quite that simple, but I wouldn't be surprised if at least somebody from the BPC is on the team at least.
That's a
At the
great
Right.
very
idea.
least, I mean, but I just think he has so many people you could choose on because I mean, so many people right now are just annoyed with the elite, and who knows, man? I mean, who knows with this thing with whatever they're doing, what's going on with Kenny Omega, and it's like it's endless, man, endless options right now, man. So it's just a matter of people, I guess, maybe even feeling comfortable working with Swerve, being able to feel like they can believe in him.
Yeah, Nick,
One thing I did really quick, guys, I don't mean to interrupt. One thing I did just think of,
go ahead, Sarah.
and I know they were like in a program together before he left. What if
Yeah.
they got Hangman to come back? He's been with AEW since day one. So I think that would create
True.
controversy because they were, again, in a program with each other. And Hangman kind of portrayed himself kind of as going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there at the end. And that's, essentially why he needed to take time off. But yeah, I mean, you could even have Hangman come in too.
Yeah, that's anything is a possibility. Like you all just said, anything is possible. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah. So I did say this as we ended last night. I think whenever they came out, it was weird to me that they came out and they were doing the promo towards Swerve, but they addressed just the camera and everyone, watching at home, whatever, saying they challenged AEW's best to blood and guts. So where Swerve falls into that, who knows, is because it goes to my question is Swerve heel? Is he a baby face? Like what side does he lean towards more? Given that you said the people don't trust him and um, this and that, and if it's Swerve against the elite for blood and guts, he could have his mogul embassy and his group, or because they said AEW's best, I take that to mean maybe they do um, the four from who did Anarchy in the Arena with Swerve, because I think Blood and Guts is 5-on-5. So then the elite would just need to find one more could be they bring back, bring back whoever, or I do like the Hangman coming back and being a part of that as well, fitting in wherever he can fit in. But that was it was interesting that they came out and they said AEW's best, and then but we're also doing it towards Swerve, so he will be included in that and be the fifth for AEW's team AEW, and then they'll find a fifth. But they can, like you said, Mac, it's an endless directions that they can go.
Or how about this? How about this? Let me see if you guys agree with this. How about this? They bring back Hangman. They bring back Hangman, right? They bring him back. He tells Swerve Strickland, I don't like you, but I want to work with you. And he suckers him in. And then he turns on Swerve and goes with the Elite. And now that's the man who's going to team with the Elite. And they're going to go against Swerve. And now he has to find somebody else in the match. That's a possibility.
I like how you think, Earl. I like how you think.
You understand what I mean? They can have him come back. And he just goes ahead and he tells Strickland, I don't like you, but I'm going to work with you. And he lulls him into that self-comfort of, okay, he's going to be on my side. When all of a sudden, the true colors come out and he turns on him and he goes with the Elite.
And it could be his way of getting rehired and rejoining the Elite
since
he was suspended or fired with Kenny Omega and whatnot.
Bingo.
I absolutely love that. 100%.
Bingo.
Book it.
Bingo.
Tony, whatever you have, crumble it up, throw it away.
Swerve, huh?
Your pocket and do that.
Yep. And I'll take my check, please. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about this next match. It was Kyle Fletcher, Roderick Strong, and Takeshita versus Orange, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe. The match was fine. The match was great. I love a 6-man tag. The only thing is, I just wish at AEW stop making Kyle O'Reilly like Natalia of AEW, making him go over, making people go over Kyle O'Reilly. I'm tired of that. That rug has been worn out. There's a hole in it. Replace it, please. Yes, I don't like seeing that. He has so much in his repertoire that he could be a champion at some point. But if you keep using him the way you're using him, it's not going to be. It's not going to go over well with the audience. Now I don't know if you all agree with me or not, but that's the way I feel, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Mac, what do you think?
I mean, I really do wish they would do something better with Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, because I'm a big fan of his. I do like he's one of the best technical wrestlers in the business, and he deserves to get some gold around his waist for sure. I definitely agree with that. But the match itself, man, was it's a tremendous 6-man match. These guys really brought it. All six guys brought it. I was definitely okay with the result, the end result with Kyle's family and Roderick Strong winning the match. I mean, but it was a really great match. The ending with still continuing this beef with Orange Cassidy that just won't go away. Trent Beretta just won't let this thing die, man. Just continuously attacking Orange Cassidy every chance he gets. Furthering the Statlander heel turn with her and Willow. She's coming out and neutralizing Willow. That was supposed to be the only person that Orange felt at his back, and just I love the way they're kind of building all this up. This whole thing because when it's going to come to a head between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta and Willow and Chris Statlander. It's. I mean, they're starting to at least give us some really decent storytelling behind the good, solid matches. And I thought this match they really delivered on this match. I mean, a lot of just big time spots, great spots. Match flowed really well, and it was just really, really just dope. It was definitely a highlight of the night.
Um, Sarah, what do you think?
So, like I said in the beginning of the episode tonight, I enjoy watching Mark Briscoe because the main thing I notice, no matter if he's doing a promo or if he's in the ring, he is having fun. He genuinely wants to be there, and that comes across in what he says and what he does in the ring. He's there to have fun and hang out with his friends and do some redneck kung fu. And it's so fun to watch him. So, and that I think is infectious for the younger talent like Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy. So I thought all six of those guys did a phenomenal job in this match. The action, it was full of action. They kept everything concise. Like I could keep up with who was doing what was happening. It wasn't, oh, we're over here in front of the ring. Oh wait, now we're in the ring, and now we're over here. Now we're back in front of the ring on the floor. Like it wasn't all choppy. Like you could tell what was going on and keep up with it. So, and it fit the narrative again. You had Trent Beretta attacking Orange Cassidy after the match, and then that continued their feud. Then you had Willow and Chris Statlander up on the stage. That continued their feud. So I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see like an intergender like tag match going on between the four of them at some point. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I thought the match was great. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely said the same thing about going down the route of the mixed tag match. They could do that and continue doing this and do that at Forbidden Door. Given that who depending on what person has what match already lined up, but if not at Forbidden Door, then at some point, and it can get to the point where you can throw a stipulation on it. So. It can be pure chaos and craziness. And just the six-man the trios match, it was great. Mark Briscoe was on fire with just what going in there and going crazy right away. And I think Earl, you said last night, how many cups of coffee did he have? Because he was firing on all cylinders.
Oh, wow.
And just everything. Oh, we lost Sarah.
Hope she comes back.
But just just the trios match was great. I enjoyed it. And it did what it needed to do. I know Earl, we had said you wanted the Orange Cassidy's team to win. So
Yeah, I
the
did.
result wasn't really what we had put out there to want
No.
to be, but that goes with what you said about Kyle O'Reilly and everything like that. So I fully agree with that one. And then Mac, with what you said, and same thing with everything that Sarah said, especially the mixed tag match. Eventually, hopefully, I had said that right away. I think as soon as they did the turn with Statlander.
Yeah, I just I thought that the match was great. The match was fine. I had no issues with the match. This was just like what Nick brilliantly said. I was disappointed because I wanted to see Orange Cassidy's team, well, especially O'Reilly. I wanted him to get a pin in the match. That's what I wanted to see. But we didn't get that. But that's all right. That's fine. The the end justified the means in the end. And then this was great for what it was. So, Mac, on an entertainment level, what do you give this match?
I guess definitely was a 10 for me. This was, like I said, one of the highlights of the night. This match was awesome. It delivered. Everything with this match was great, man. Like I said, the six guys really put on the show, and just everything about this match, all the post match antics, everything was just the way it needed to be. So they did this. They really did a good job. So I had to give this a 10.
All right. And Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I mean 10 across for all 6 of these guys that were in the match. And Statlander coming out, continuing that. The sell by the one guy that was at ringside, who was just laying there like a post and continued to lay there. Everything about it was really good. So 10 for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 10 too. I'm gonna give this a 10 too because this match was great. The chemistry in the ring was just fantastic. And like I told you, Nick, last night when we were doing the show, how much coffee did Mark Briscoe have last night behind the scenes? And Sarah's back. Let's add it to the screen. Let's get this. All right, Sarah, are you?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
everything
here.
okay?
Sorry. Yeah, my internet like went out. It's like everybody's screens went black, and I had like the loading circle, and I couldn't.
Oh,
Then I could hear you guys, but then all of a sudden I couldn't hear you guys, and then everything froze. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
yeah. Well, modern technology, you either love it or leave it. Um,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
so on an entertainment level, Sarah, what do you give the match that we were discussing before?
Oh, the 6-man tag. I give that a 10.
Yeah,
I thought it was fantastic.
yeah, I agree with the entire package and everyone's assessment. The match was right. The match was fine. The match was great for what it was. Great chemistry, great nuance in the match. Everybody played their part well in the match, and I had no issues with it. It was great. Good
Yep.
stuff. Good stuff. Now we're gonna gloss over the learning tree because I'm not even gonna. We're just
Bye,
gonna. Uh,
guys.
no,
Bye, guys.
no, I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that. Yeah, that. All right. Let's talk about the Dynamite main event. The Dynamite main event. Mr. Offspring took on Mr. Phoenix. This match was absolutely flawless. The match. I'm going to tell you something. You know, when you have matches like this, it is too bad that we don't have that 3D television where you can throw roses at something that you really like and you're watching it on TV so that they can catch it through the TV. This was just absolutely one of those things. This was fantastic. Will Offspring never puts on a lemon sour match. This man comes out and he puts on a banger. And he makes the person that's in the match even more glorified than what they are. And he
Yep.
puts a shine on them. And I'll tell you this much. If you're not a fan of what these two did last night, then you're not a wrestling fan. Because obviously you don't know what you're watching. You obviously don't know what you're watching. And I loved it. I absolutely raised those. Me and Nick just absolutely were glued to the monitor. We were absolutely glued to what we were watching because this was great. These guys match move for move, counter for counter, hold for hold, move for move. And they were swift and crisp and clean, and there was no botches, there was no nothing. It was just like I wanted more. If they would have wrestled, ladies and guys, if they would have wrestled until 11, that would have been fine with me. That would have been fine. That would have been
Yeah.
fine. That would have been perfectly fine. I wouldn't have had an issue with it whatsoever. Now, not 1 a.m., but 11 is fine. 11 is fine. 11 is fine. It was just, I just can't keep talking about this. But this match was so good. This was good. And Sarah, what did you make of the main event of Dynamite?
I thought it was amazing. Like I loved watching them counter each other. Like Osprey would do a move, Phoenix would counter it. You know, at the very end, Ospreay kept trying to do Hidden Blade a few times, and Rey Fenix kept countering it. Like, it was crazy, but it was so good. I mean, they were both doing their normal move sets, which are wonderful. But it just, the back and forth between these guys, like, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Like I said before, this was like a pay-per-view level match that we got on Dynamite. Like, this was wonderful. And I can't quite remember, it was at the internet, but when I was standing up on the turnbuckle, and like Nick had mentioned earlier, he said, this is my house. Like, that, everybody went, whoa, and you could hear the crowd. So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Stupid match.
Oh, that's great. Nick, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean everything. There's not much more that needs to be said about this one. It was great. Really ended and wrapped up the show nicely with given it. I gave it an A. Everything about it from start to finish, counter for counter, move for move. The build with at the end whenever Osprey finished the match out and looked over at Swerve with Prince Nana watching, and then handing him the contract, and then having the match that he had, and just everything about it, top to bottom,
So good.
all boxes checked off the list, and couldn't have asked for anything more and anything better.
Exactly. Mac, what did you think?
I mean, they have already said everything, but I mean, I still got the goosebumps, man. Like that match, man, from bell to bell. He's talking about two phenomenal talents in the ring. I mean, putting on, like, when you get a ticket to a show, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what I want to spend my money on. Matches like
Yep.
that.
Yes.
Like, that
Yes.
was absolutely amazing. And like you said, Sarah, that's definitely, that match belonged on the pay-per-view, and we got it on
Yep.
Dynamite. Like that,
Right.
like that. There's nothing you can say. Like, if you didn't like that match, you don't have a pulse. You don't know what, like, it's just
Right.
This is
Have
one
you
time
rewatched
where
that match?
this is one time where they can say we're the best wrestle.
Right.
Oh yeah.
yeah, like that
Right.
was absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm just mind blown by what we watched those two guys do in that ring last night. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Rey Fenix Jr. I feel like everything he does, like in the ring, he's just so exciting to watch. Watching him walk across the road, doing the things he can do, and then and now with Will Ospreay in the mix in AEW, and he's just bringing that same type of energy as well. And you get these two in the ring together. Like, I want to see that again, man. I want to see these guys again, man. Like, I want more of that, and they need to bring that kind of energy each and every week, man. On AEW, I mean, they're setting a new standard. Guys like Will Ospreay, I mean, they're setting a new standard in AEW now. They're raising the bar, so to speak. And like you said, Nick, the end of the match, after the match, the continuous build with him and Swerve, just building up to what's going to probably be an amazing main event at Forbidden Door. I mean, what more can you ask for as a wrestling fan right now? That match was just, I'm mind blown by it. It was so, like you said, all the counters, just the great action in that match. You just, yeah, that was, it left me speechless, man. It really did.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. You know, on November the 16th of this year, I'm gonna celebrate my third decade as a wrestling fan, and I'm gonna tell you this much. I'm gonna tell you this much. I've been a wrestling fan for a long time, and I've seen some bangers in my heyday. I know I'm showing my age and everything. I'm a Volkswagen. I understand. But anyway, 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 I just love wrestling matches like this. This makes my heart grow fonder as a wrestling match because you want more of it and you want to see more of it. This was just absolutely flawless. This was an out there. There was no other word to use. There's no other word I could say. Banger, flawless, point, everything. Everything. Take everything out the kitchen. All the pots, the pans, the oven, the stove, whatever you got in that kitchen. If whatever you got, just bring it on out. Because this was absolutely great. This was great. And on an entertainment level, if I could raise it up to that high, I would give it 100. This match was great. This match was great. And I know my panelist is going to agree with me. I believe everyone across the board is going to give this a 10. This match gets a 10.
Absolutely.
This match gets a 10.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 1000% a 10. Yep.
It was awesome.
Yes,
Dave
indeed.
Meltzer will finally get one right with his star rating.
He has me on ice on Twitter. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, but we won't go there. Anyway, but that was Dynamite. That was Dynamite. And
Can I
thank
say
you all so much.
one more thing real
You
quick
go ahead,
about
go
Dynamite?
ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
Because there was one more squash match on the card last night. I remember the
Oh
what the
yes.
hell was it now? I can't even.
Oh yes, the impromptu Daniel Garcia and Nick.
Oh, the Daniel
Daniel
Garcia.
Garcia.
Yes.
And
Oh,
But the funny
yeah.
thing about
Yeah. Let's
well,
talk
the
about
funny
that.
thing about that match, the only thing that was funny about it for me was because the guy who he was going against was absolutely a jobber. I mean, I have no idea who this guy was. Looked like an old school classic wrestler from back in the day, honestly, whoever he was. But why did he have a manager? Like he had like a valet, a manager out. I'm like, they're giving jobbers like valets now. They get managers now.
Okay, I'm gonna explain it.
I just found it kind of weird. That's all.
I'm gonna tell you who he is. He is Nick Camarado, and Nick Camarado used to be an AEW lifer. He used to be with Nick Nemeth and all of them, and he used to come out with the guys, and he used to come out with that faction. I forgot the name of the faction. I don't forgot the name of the fact. Maybe somebody in the chat can help me with the name of the faction. But he used to come out with that faction, and I think it was called the Wingman, a Wingman or something. So he came out with the Wingman, and he used to come out with Nick Nemeth and all of them, and they used to come out. So that's who he was. That's who Nick Camarado was. Now the guy on the floor, I had no idea who that was. I have no idea. Maybe they got it from the popcorn stand. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyway. Anywho.
From the concession stand.
Yeah, I was
Anywho.
thrown off by it because I was like, why does this guy have a manager? Like who? Like
I don't know. I don't know. It was very bizarre. But the match was there was nothing to it. There's really nothing to it.
Absolutely nothing.
Um,
Nothing at all.
I, I'm gonna ask my panelists on an entertainment level, what number would you roll out for this? I don't.
I mean, it was the most forgettable match on the card. So by far.
So am I going to safely say from all of you that I have to give this a golden goose egg?
I mean, I take one thing positive from it. It's still continuing to build Daniel Garcia. I think he's still a great young talent that I'd like to see get some gold around his waist soon.
Nick, what number would you give this?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those squash matches where it's just like, okay, we could have done without it. I think going along with the forbidden the learning tree segment, this is why you gave it, I believe, a B+ last night. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it a 0 just because, like Max said, it did build for Daniel Garcia. So like maybe a 3.5, 3.5 or a 4. But there's nothing much else to write home about for this one.
Mac, what number would you give it? Mac.
I'm right there, same page with Nick. Like I said, just for the Daniel Garcia factor, I'd give it just like a 3, maybe. But yeah, the match was absolutely forgettable.
Sarah, what about you?
I feel the same way. Like, look, we forgot that the match was even on.
Right.
You know,
I told Mac brought it up. Mac brought it
I
up.
think that
Right.
says,
Mac,
that
I
says it
think
all.
that says a lot. That says a lot. That says a lot. That says a lot.
So I agree with Mac and Nick. I would give it a 3. I mean, it was just there. I think that they would
Right.
have been better served to take the time from that match and put it elsewhere, like give more time to another match, or give somebody more time on a backstage segment. That I think they would have been better served to do that. But again, I'm glad they're at least continuing to build up Daniel Garcia. I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this. Okay, now I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice because it's Thursday night. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna
The
be
baby
nice.
girl.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be a baby face tonight. I'm gonna be baby face, and I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I did give it a goose egg, but now that my parents as told me about Daniel Garcia, which is right, they owe him a receipt. They owe him a receipt. So I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give this match a 3. Okay, I'm gonna give this match a 3. I give the match a 3. It wasn't. It wasn't. Would I want to see it again? No. No. Was it stellar? No. Was it a classic? No. But it was good for what it was, and that's it. I use that a lot with Sarah. It is good for what it was, and that's the formula I use all the time with some of these matches. And people like it like that because this way you're not saying too much about it and you're not saying too little about it. So it's good for what it was. And we leave it alone at that. Okay. Before we move on to the Clash of the Castle predictions, I just want to point out something here that this week has been a very successful week for the hardcore sports and myself. First of all, we got a lot of views for Monday Night Raw. Thank you all so much for doing that. We got a lot of views for AEW Dynamite last night. Thank you all so much for that. I wrote my first wrestling article this week. Thank you to everyone that was on that idea. I believe Mitch and Matt. I mean Nick and Mitch and London were all involved in this, and his artwork on my article was absolutely fantastic. If you want to read the article that I wrote, the link for that is in the group chat, and you can read the article for yourself. And I'm going to write another article, and it's coming down the pike. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was great. It was great. So I want to thank the entire audience, our viewing audience, for making this a banner week. And I want to thank Nick. I want to thank London, and I want to thank everyone who worked with me this week. I suffered a lot this week. I had a back injury and everything, so I'm dealing with that and everything else in between. So again, I want to thank you all so much for your time and energy. And I want to thank Sarah for her time and energy. And I can't wait to work with her again because me and Sarah are not done with each other. No, we're going to be back Saturday afternoon for the Clash of the Castle. It'll be big. He's got the roundup. He's got the roundup. Not the giant Philip in the building along with Mr. Mitch Koski, Orange Cassidy's bestie. Mitch Koski. Mitch Koski will be in the building along with Denise and I. We'll all bring you the Clash of the Castle 2024. Also, Martina and Nick will also bring you the Clash of the Castle. So that's going to be Team Facebook. Yep, it'll be Team Facebook and Team YouTube. we're all gonna bring you the Clash of the Castle. This
Wow.
this Saturday, it's gonna be historic. And I am dedicating this Clash of the Castle to Jeffrey because I did the first Clash of the Castle with Jeffrey, and we did the Clash of the Castle. So this Clash of the Castle will be dedicated to him. I am quite sure if Jeffrey was here, he would have been on our telecast. Now I'm not sure if he would have picked Team Facebook or he would have picked Team YouTube, but I'm sure he would have had fun nonetheless. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so with that in mind, we're going to do the Clash of the Castle. Now, we have five stellar matches, but one match has a big, giant crystal ball question mark to it.
I
A
can't wait.
big question. It's going to have a powder keg question mark to it because I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going to happen here, folks. But what I do know is I smell something cooking from the WWE, and it's not going to be tasting good for somebody. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it because that's what we do around these parts. We talk about it. All right. So let's just go through the card. Like I said, we have five matches, but we also have something going on SmackDown. And me and Denise will bring you Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow from Glasgow, Scotland. Now, I told you all before this, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to repeat this. SmackDown will be taped tomorrow afternoon. Please do not on X or any of the group chats. Please do not put the spoilers on there. Please don't do that. I don't want to see the result of the matches. Me and Denise will take care of SmackDown tomorrow night. All you got to do is just come on the Hardcore Sports and in the group chat and be a part of the chat. Be a part of the show, and we will welcome you accordingly. And Sarah, again, I want to thank you last night for your participation on Dynamite. I thought that was great. And if you all didn't hear the announcement, Sarah is now a moderator on my channel. Her and Mac are moderators on my channel, and they will stamp out any evil do-goers, as I call them, on the chat. So if you can't say anything constructive, here comes Raid. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Snapchat
All
tomorrow.
right. Let's talk.
Get you out of there. Remove
So
you from ringside.
exactly. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this first match. It is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. It is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill taking on Elba Fire, Ella Dawn, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. The match is going to be great. The match is going to be fine. I don't know how many issues with this match whatsoever. It was a triple threat match. Nick called it. He said that this was going to come to fruition, and it has.
Yep.
So I'm going to go to Sarah first. Sarah, who is going to win the women's tag team championship?
I think that Bianca and Jade are gonna retain the titles. I don't
Okay.
foresee them changing hands. I do appreciate though the fact that WWE has taken all the Scottish athletes and and they're going to be in a match or involved in some way, shape, or form. I think that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So I don't think that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have a chance in hell of getting those titles, but it's good that they're in the mix. And everybody knows how I feel about Shayna Baszler. She is still owed several receipts. She's amazing. So I'm excited to get to, that she has this opportunity. We're gonna get to see her be on a pay-per-view match. I know she just did Battleground on Sunday with Lola Vice, but I'm really excited to see Shayna Baszler. So I think that they're the ladies are gonna retain their titles. I don't think they're going anywhere yet.
Mac, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. I don't see Jade and Bianca dropping those titles quite yet, but it's a great opportunity for Isla Dawn, Alba Fire finally getting back, and getting some regular work in again. It's been a long, long time since they got called up to the main roster. It was just like, what had they been doing? They've done nothing with them. They came up with they came up when they got drafted to the or to the main roster. They had the women's NXT Tag Team Champions, if I'm not mistaken, and then they lost. That's when they decided to just combine the titles
Scrap
or
'em.
whatever, and they lost. Yeah, and they lost. They lost when they lost. When they lost to, can't even remember now at this point, but can't even keep up. But
Yeah.
the point is, it's good to see them back getting some regular play on TV. Because I mean, I think a lot of people forget. At one point in time, Alba Fire, when she was I can't remember what her name used to be, Kaylee Ray or something like that, back in NXT UK, man, she was one of the most dominant women champions they ever had. And it's just like, what are we doing with these women? Like all of a sudden, we're acting like these women can't still get down in the ring and can't. I understand that Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, they're a big deal. I get it, but you got to start really. You got to really showcase some of these other women. Shayna Baszler. I mean, it's just a travesty what they've done to her, man. You're talking about a woman that was absolutely had a dominant run in NXT, and now it's like you just kind of keep putting her in tag team, different random tag teams, not really giving her a real true opportunity. And she's one of the absolute best in the division. So as much as I would love to see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark win this match, I'm pretty sure that they're just going to keep the titles on Bianca and Jade. But it could still make for a good match.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, all three, team. I don't think that that the champs are going to lose. They're not this soon. They this is their chance to put prestige back onto the women's tag titles that have been just awful over the last couple of years. Ever since the pandemic era with Bailey and Mercedes or Sasha, however you want to say it, and the Kabuki Warriors, everything they did with during the pandemic era, with the tag titles going back and forth between those two, and just the women's tag division has been so messy. So it's been a joke, and now this is their chance to put it back up to where it could be. Shayna Baszler deserves way better than tag gold to begin with. So it's just, I mean, it can be a way to help get Zoe out there and get her in a match. Same with Fire and Dawn. They're Scottish, so going over there to perform definitely is a huge plus. Like Sarah said, the unification of the tag titles, the women's tag titles, and then the NXT women's tag titles. It didn't make sense to me back then, and now it still like you said, we forgot who even took the tag titles to unify them. It was just, I mean, it was pointless back then, especially like you go and make the NXT women's tag titles after you say the WWE tag titles for the women's should be on all three brands, and they weren't. And
Right.
then they were off TV completely for a while, and it's like, what were we doing? And yeah, at one point, I hated those titles more than the 24/7 championship. So, um,
Right.
I mean, it's come a long way, but I don't think anyone anytime soon is taking those tag titles from Jade and Bianca.
Here's a question that I have for the panelists, and I don't think nobody even brought this up. When was the last time that you saw Elba Fire and Elba Dawn in a match? Um, I can't remember. I quite honest with you, I
Yeah,
haven't seen them
they
on
on
WWE TV.
they on Raw
Yeah,
Monday
very
night.
well could have been
They got
when they
they got
lost
beat
the.
on Raw Monday night.
Yeah, it
I
very well could
haven't
have been
seen them in
whenever
the
they
match.
lost the NXT women's tag titles.
Because I haven't seen them on WWE TV. Where?
Well,
I'm looking
Shayna
on
and
the.
Zoe beat them on Raw Monday night. Shayna and Zoe beat them on Raw Monday night.
Yeah, I know, I
Maybe that's
know, I know, I know that. But
I
what
mean
my question
I
is,
mean prior to that.
yeah,
I
prior
mean
to
prior to
that,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, prior to
Yeah.
that, I mean, prior to that,
It's,
I understand that, but prior to that, what happened? You know, it's almost like looking under the couch for loose change. There is none. I mean, this is just okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm looking at cage seats right now, and they were, they were on SmackDown whenever they first came up, and they were the Unholy Union. And the video that's linked with the episode of SmackDown is
Right.
when LA Knight and John Cena were in a ring, and they're facing Roman, they're face to face with Roman Reigns. So it's like, I mean, that's how long ago it's been
Oh my
since they were
gosh.
drafted
Oh
and brought up
gosh.
to
Jeez.
SmackDown. And
Jeez.
this was back whenever everyone that was winning the tag titles, they were getting hurt, so they popped up as
Right.
the witchy type characters, and they were, taking credit for putting a curse on the women's tag titles. And then that story kind of died down because whoever had the titles at the time they weren't getting hurt. But this is when Piper got hurt, Chelsea, and whoever else was in the mix. So
Right. Well, Sonya Deville was part of the women's tag team
yes,
division, and then she
yes,
got injured, and her knee got blown out, and she had to
yeah.
be put on the shelf. So yeah, that was the time when I asked the question: Is these titles cursed? Because every time that everyone had it, they were on the shelf. So my gosh, that's well. Here's my prediction for this match, and here's my prediction. Here it goes. Jade is gonna they're gonna retain the title. The title's gonna stay where it is. Um,
Yeah.
the question is who's gonna eat the pin? Well, I don't think you should pin Elba Fire and Ella Dawn in the match because they're in Scott. That would be that's embarrassing. You shouldn't do that. So unfortunately, at this time, I think Zoe Stark should eat the pin. I think Jade should give her the jaded, and then that's it. Don't do it to Shayna Baszler. Leave Shayna Baszler out of it. Give Zoe Stark, let her eat the pin, and give her the jaded, and be done away with it. And that's the way you should end the match. Not anything else. Don't pin Elbow Fire Eladon. Don't do that, and don't do Shayna Baszler. Just give it to Zoe Stark. Let her eat the pin, and that's it. And we move on in the program. Okay. Here's something that is really intriguing. Here's something that's really intriguing. The Intercontinental Championship is up for grabs. We have Chad Gable taking on Sami Zayn. Now, here's the question that I have. Here's the big question. Here's some factors in this match. Does Chad Gable win the Intercontinental title? Does he sign with WWE prior to the match? Does the Creed brothers come in and turn heel and help Chad Gable win the title? Does Otis get involved in the match and snaps on Gable and we get the feud? All of these elements are in the Rockets' red glare. Which one of these scenarios is going to happen? Or are we going to get a retainment? Hmm. Matt, I turn to you. What do you say?
creative juices are flowing a little bit. I want to see something really wild happen in this match. I want to see something crazy. I don't know. I think Chad Gable might. I think this might be his night finally, where it might all come together finally. And I think the Alpha Academy. I don't know who's going to be taking the trip over there. If the whole crew, like, if he's going to actually have. I'm pretty sure Otis will be there for sure. But I don't know if like Maxine, Cesaro was there. But if they all are, I think this will be that time where finally they all get on the same page, and like where you can even get something weird swerve where Sammy's talking to him and trying once again pleading with him, telling him to stop listening to Chad Gable and they can do better, and then maybe something like Maxine gives him a random nut shot or something like that, or something to that effect. some random craziness, which could maybe take lead to Chad Gable somehow coming out on top and finally getting that title that he's been chasing for quite some time now. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing Chad Gable finally get the title, because I think Chad Gable is another underappreciated superstar as far as technical wrestling ability.
So you want to see Maxine Dupree hit Sami Zayn in the bagpipes?
I mean, just something crazy like that. I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to be that specifically, but just something to that effect. Something kind of weird, something that you don't
Right
really
now,
see coming, or something that Sami Zayn
right
wouldn't
now,
see
right in the
coming.
haggis, right in the haggis.
I mean, I'm just looking for something different, like hit me with something that we don't expect you to do. That's all.
um,
Yeah, I want to see something to that effect. Doesn't have to be that specifically
okay.
that, or something like that.
Okay, but I know why you said that, because you want the Earlisms with it. That's why you said it. That is why you said it. That's why you want me to call it
You
with
know
the
me so well,
Earlisms.
Earl.
That's why you want me to say.
You
That is
know me so
why.
well, Earl.
Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. You want me to come up with something witty? Oh yes. Ah, I love Mac. He's got the roundup. He's got- I love it. I love it. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with whatever happens on this one. But like whenever you pointed out your questions that you have surrounding it, this is probably the most interesting match for me on the card. Outside of the potential, CM Punk interference and whatnot with Drew and costing him another title.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're
For
definitely gonna
sure.
talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with the most outrageous booking that they can do, similar to the main event of WrestleMania that I called for all the interferences and in the bloodline rules. You could do Otis being there, Tozawa being there, everything, everyone being there, and then Alpha Academy turning on Gable and walking away from him, and then the Creed brothers coming out, turning heel, being there with him then in his corner, and Sammy getting through that, winning, continuing his Intercontinental title run, or finally give Gable his moment and as an Intercontinental champion, which could be the reason that he resigns. It could be already in the works of he wins, then resigns. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's tough to pick a winner for this one for me. So I'm indifferent and okay with whatever happens.
Okay, Sarah, what do you think?
So what I think this will be the night where Otis just can't take Chad Gable's crap anymore, and he's going to turn on Chad Gable. It'll prevent him from getting the title.
Bro, thank you.
Um, and then I think we'll see another match with Sammy and Chad. I think they're going to take this into SummerSlam. It would not surprise me, or Money in the Bank. They'll extend this out a little bit to really get, because then we'll get Chad versus Chad and Otis together, but then he'll have the Creed brothers out there to back him up. So I think Otis is going to finally just snap and not take any crap from Chad Gable anymore.
All right. Here's the thing. According to the PW Insider, and according to everyone else outlet, Triple H wrote the ending to this match twice. So, what does that mean? Well, it could mean one or two things. They had a meeting with him while they were in Glasgow. So, what does this mean? Well, this means that maybe Chad Gable did sign. He did sign, but Triple H is not saying anything. He's saying mum's the word. So, I think what's going to happen here is the following, and this is what I think. Referee gets wiped out. We have no referee in the match. Okay? Zayn goes to cover Gable to retain. There is no referee. We have no referee. Maxine Dupree, he goes to Maxine Dupree, or maybe it's not Maxine Dupree, maybe it's Otis. He goes to Otis and he says, "Go bring me a chair." Otis refused to do what Chad Gable wants him to do. He goes out and argues with him on the floor. While he distracts Otis, here come the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers then wipes out Otis and destroys him on the arena floor. They then go into the ring and destroy Zayn. Toss the referee back in the ring. Gable covers, and we have a brand new Intercontinental Championship. That I think is one thing that could happen. Another thing that could happen is Otis snaps and he helps Zayn retain the title when he gives him the Helua kick. So those two scenarios are what I think should happen in the match. Will it happen? We're gonna see. We're gonna see. But like Nick said, I'm indifferent to whatever happens. I mean, if he retains, that's fine. If he doesn't, okay. That's just wrestling. That's what happens. Um, yeah. So yeah. So that's my prediction. All right. Bailey will take on Piper Niven. Bailey will take on Piper Niven. Now, some of you guys came to me and they asked me, Earl, do you know that there's no build for this? Yes, there is. There is a build. She's been attacking Bailey left and right and center. Have you all not watched? Have you all not watched what Piper Niven has done to Bailey over the last 3 weeks? No, you probably haven't. You probably haven't. There is a build. There is a build for this match. She keeps attacking Bailey. But the question is, who's going to become the women's champion? Sarah, who is going to win the WWE Women's Champion?
I think she's frozen.
I think Sarah's frozen. Okay. Yep. And we just lost her. Okay. So I'm going to go to Nick. Nick, who is winning the Women's Championship?
I would hope Bailey retains here. I think they just threw Piper into this match because it's in Scotland. The build that you had said about her attacking Bailey, it's kind of just like the baby build to give her the match in Scotland. Because Piper and Chelsea are a tag team, and it's like, you know, they did Bailey and Chelsea, and then Piper was there and she attacked her. And then they did, they finally gave Piper a microphone and she said whatever she said. I can't even remember what she said because I just don't care for Piper.
Right.
I don't care. Those two were funny whenever she was like walking around being big, bad, and mean, and scared everyone, especially Chelsea. And Chelsea would go to talk, and then Piper would just stop her and then speak, or whatever. But I would hope Bailey retains, and then they can move on to someone else to challenge Bailey. And then obviously we have Bailey and Nia Jax at SummerSlam. So that'll be whatever it ends up being. Not counting down the days for that match at SummerSlam by any means, but Nia Jax has gotten better since coming back. And Nia Jax and Piper, that would be a match that would be somewhat interesting down the line later, but I don't see. I mean, if they do give it to Piper in Scotland, cool. She gets her moment. Hopefully, her title run lasts longer than 5 minutes and 46 seconds, unlike the other Scotsman that's on the card fighting for a title. But I mean, I got Bailey.
You keep poking that bear, don't you? You just love poking that bear.
What I do.
um, Matt, what do you think? Who is going to win the title?
Uh, I definitely think Bailey's going to retain here. I mean, I don't really have a problem with Piper Niven. I don't have anything against her. I think she's pretty talented, pretty athletic for a woman her size, moving around the ring the way she does. But I just don't see a way you can validate her becoming the women's champion right now. I mean, she hasn't done much of anything on the single circuit at all. She's been in the tag team with Chelsea Green now for some time. Pretty much, I mean, they come down to the ring together now. They have everything's all like they're a legit team now. So it's like that is kind of what it is. You kind of pigeonhole her into that role. I agree, like what Nick said. This was just kind of like you said, a baby build and just kind of have an excuse to give her the match here in Scotland in front of her home. Always, I mean, I'm sure she hasn't had a chance to perform in front of her in her home country in probably quite some time. So it's a nice opportunity for her, but it's just no way to validate putting the women's title on Piper Niven. It's just you can't validate that. It would make absolute no sense because it's like, where does this come from? All of a sudden, now you're just going to put the women's championship on this lady who's she's barely even had a singles match. And I mean, she's just been, like I said, been in this tag team thing. She's been a tag team wrestler now for quite a while. So it's just, it could be an interesting match, but I just don't see much coming out of it in the way of Piper Niven actually winning. Maybe it's an opportunity to let her perform and actually challenge for a title, but there's no way you can put that title on her right now. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Bailey is gonna retain here. Bailey's gonna have a retainment. There's just no way she's going to lose the title because, as you all know, she's gonna have to go against Queen Nia Jax at SummerSlam, and that's gonna be her dance partner very soon. Um, but the question that I have is, what are they going to do with Gunther's crown? Because there's still an asterisk next to it, and Triple H has not addressed that yet, or made an announcement or moved the needle as to what we're going to do here. Remember, Orton is still sitting at home nursing his wounds that he got from Gunther the last time. Um, when are we going to get the rematch? Maybe at Money in the Bank. Maybe that's when they'll pull the trigger. So I'm kind of interested to that. All right, guys. All right. Here comes a match that is what I call Mick Foley-ish trickery. It's called the I Quit match. It's AJ Styles taking on Cody Rhodes. Here's why I call this the mankind trickery. If you remember, think back in your wrestling lore, in your wrestling mind. Do you remember the match that Mick Foley had in an I Quit match? And the referee stuck the microphone in Mick Foley's face, and he said, except for one thing, he didn't say it. It was
Oh, he
over a
absolutely did not say it.
loudspeaker. No, it was over a loudspeaker. Now, Cody Rhodes did the same thing. He did the same thing with AJ Styles. Would AJ do a Nick Foley trickery? And when the referee sticks the microphone, will he say to production, "Put that on the screen"? And he's gonna say, "I quit." And the referee rings the bell, and we have a new champion. Or are we gonna get a retainment? Nick, what say you? Mm, mm.
Yeah, we talked about this on SmackDown whenever they
Yes, I.
made the match. So with
Yes.
technology has advanced since then, and doing that kind of booking and ways to end the match. I don't think they would do that to Cody, given that he went through so much to get that title. That's not how they're going to take that title away from him, even with AJ being the one to play those types of mind games as the heel that he is. Um, I definitely I don't see it going that way, but it would be interesting if they would do that. Then where do you go from there in the sense of, oh well, would they add more time to it? Would AJ say that he won and then get out of there and then continue it further and further, especially now with the Rock's showing his injury, his elbow injury that he got filming his MMA movie, and probably not coming back to WWE anytime soon for SummerSlam, like everyone thought. Cody and Rock at SummerSlam would be fun. Could they continue AJ and Cody into SummerSlam? So it's going to be fun to see how they do it. But I have Cody retaining.
Okay. Sarah, what do you think?
Sorry, my computer wasn't working for a second. I don't think AJ has a stone cold chance in hell of getting this title right now. There's no way. They're not taking that title off of Cody Rhodes at all. I could see maybe some, tricks happening or something like what The Miz did when he used a voice recorder with John Cena, the little black voice recorder, and used it. I could see something like that perhaps happening, but I do not think that AJ Styles is walking away with the title. So
Okay.
I think Cody is retaining.
Okay. And I'm going to be on the same wavelength as you. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting if he did do it like that, and then let's say for example he did do it like that, and then Cody comes out on SmackDown and said that he was robbed, and then he comes and he talks to Nick Aldis, and then he books the rematch at Money in the Bank, but then again here is a conundrum. Do you make him a transitional champion and flip it back to Cody because he cheated in the match, or do you let him do you let him retain? That's a conundrum right there. That's a sticky wicket right there. But I don't see this. I don't see none of that happening. I think we're going to get a retainment here. I was just playing with the booking. I was just playing with it, and I was telling Nick, when we were doing this, like, can you imagine he did that? Can you imagine if he did that? Really? You go into that old bag of tricks? I'm like, okay, all right. Here's something that we need to discuss right now. This is going to be the main event of this show. This Damian Priest. This Damian Priest of Mr. McIntyre. Now, I'm kind of conflicted here with this because I have said over 3 weeks now, I have said this over 3 weeks. McIntyre has a punk problem. And a punk problem he has. Now I know that some people out there are gonna say, "Well, I think McIntyre deserves to be a certain someone out there." I'm not saying who, but I'm sure you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh well, he deserves to be a champion, and he deserves it, and he needs a receipt after what happened at WrestleMania." I'm going to disagree with the assessment. Um, I think I know what's going to happen here. Somebody's going to dress in black and they're going to help Damian Priest retain. And I think you all know who I am referring to. McIntyre is going to try to win the match and he accidentally claymores the referee. The referee goes down. Punk comes out of the audience, screws McIntyre again, and he gives him the South of Heaven, and we have a retainment. Mac, what say you?
I do believe that Damian Priest is going to retain. I think CM Punk is going to have something to do with this. It's going to just continue to build for the big match with CM Punk and Drew at, I guess, SummerSlam perhaps. But I just but I don't know. I can't imagine. I think what happens is Damian Priest wins here, and then he goes on and ends up. That'll be when he goes and drops that title at SummerSlam to Gunther. I think that's who's going to take the title off of Damian Priest, and that's when it's going to happen. I don't know. I think that you invested too much into the Drew McIntyre CM Punk storyline. That can't just go away right now like that. And I know you can still continue it even if Drew was to win, but right now Gunther has that guaranteed title shot. So it's like for SummerSlam pretty much. So I think you got to go in the direction of Damian Priest retaining here and CM Punk being the reason why. And it just really infuriating Drew McIntyre to the point where now he's already obsessed with CM Punk as it is, but now it's even going to be to a different level, and we'll get a big time match with a huge stipulation probably down the line with those two. And I think this is pretty much how it's going to go down.
All right, Sarah, what do you think?
So, after watching Raw on Monday, I think one of two things is going to happen.
Okay.
It's either going to be, which I'm totally here for it, Punk comes and screws with Drew and Damian Priest retains, or on Raw on Monday, when Damian Priest was having his promo with Drew McIntyre, he said, I don't need the Judgment Day to keep my title. This isn't the Judgment Day. This title doesn't belong to Judgment Day. This title belongs to me. And Finn Balor gave him this look. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least if this is when Judgment Day turns on Damian Priest. And that's how Priest loses the title.
And keep in mind, they are banned from ringside because Drew did win his match on Monday against Finn.
Right.
Oh, crap. That's right. Okay, never mind. The Punk's interfering. Punk's interfering. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain something to you all. If you all remember the promo, think back to what the promo that McIntyre did 2 weeks ago on Raw. What was the first thing that came out of his mouth in the promo? CM Punk. He's obsessed with CM Punk. That's why he lost at WrestleMania. That is why he's going to lose it again. You keep playing and poking the bear and poking the Chicago bear. That bear has some claws and he's going to declaw you. I told everybody that I'm telling you, he's going to get within an eyelash, but because of Punk, it's just not going to happen. It's just, it won't be 5 minutes and 46 seconds. No, it won't be that kind of a match, but you get your money's worth. You trust and believe me. But it's not what you're gonna get at the end. No. You're gonna get dumped in the boat, and that will be the end of you for the night. You can go to Corpus Christi this Monday for Raw, and you can complain till the cows come home, but it's your fault. It is your fault. You wanted to mess with Punk, and this is what you got. Because he's medically cleared. So why would not he be at the Clash of the Castle? Why?
I think it's kind of interesting too is we haven't heard from Punk at all in the week.
No, we haven't. But
no.
nothing.
He was
Well,
at
I
Battleground.
did.
little
He
too
He was
quiet.
at Battleground, though. He was at Battleground,
Yeah,
Sarah.
but
He was at
he's been a little too quiet. He hasn't been on Raw at
right,
all. That's his show is Raw,
right,
and he hasn't
right.
been there. So it's a little suspicious to me that he hasn't been there for so long. And then that's when he's gonna pop up at Clash of the Castle and he's gonna cost Drew the title, which I'm totally fine with.
Now, according to the PW Insider, Chad Gable and McIntyre are the only challengers favored to win their title matches in the Clash of the Castle. But based on what everyone is saying at Sports Skeeter, Punk is favored to get involved in the McIntyre match and with Damian Priest.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of a given.
it's a testament to me to know that this is the road they're going to be traveling on. This is the road they're going to be traveling on, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it because the fallout from that show will bleed right into Raw in Corpus Christi, Texas, and we will have Monday Night Raw this Monday on the USA Network. Oh, I can't wait to do the Raw watch along because it's going to be great. We're gonna have start the qualifying matches for the ladder match. Look now let me ask you something before we go to some wrestling news. Let me ask my panelists something. We went through the card of the Clash of the Castle, and I asked this of Nick last night. And I want his answer first. Nick, let me go to you first. Which of these matches do you find the most intriguing, and which match do you find the least intriguing?
Um, I Bailey and Piper is the least intriguing, interesting to me. Given that we said it was the baby feud and just kind of like, hey, we're gonna give you this match because it's in Scotland. And
Okay.
then the main event, the world heavyweight title match is definitely the most intriguing. Just barely over the intercontinental title. But my pick for the main event is definitely Priest retaining and McIntyre getting screwed by Punk. And like you said, Gunther has his match at SummerSlam. And while the title being on McIntyre and then Punk and McIntyre for the title would make SummerSlam that much better, given that Mac, like you said, Gunther has that title shot, they could do the rematch for King of the Ring, put the King of the Ring title and stipulation back on the match, and then have Randy actually win, and then do Randy and Cody at SummerSlam, since obviously we're probably not getting the Rock and Cody. Because I think that was another one of what people wanted to see, Cody and Randy. So given that Randy is on SmackDown, if he wins, he would face Cody at SummerSlam. You could do it that way, and then Priest, you could have Priest lose because of the Judgment Day and do that going forward with him. Put the title on McIntyre, give him his moment in front of his home people, and blah blah blah. Finally, get him to shut up about that and stop complaining about that, and then also add another layer to this, the rivalry probably of the year in Punk and McIntyre at SummerSlam.
Okay. Mac, the same question to you. Which match do you find intriguing and which match you find least intriguing?
Well, least intriguing, I'm right there with Nick. That match doesn't move the needle for me at all. I mean, it's just no way in the world that Piper Niven's winning that match and winning that title off of Bailey. So it's just like almost I mean, it just doesn't excite me. If there's gonna be a bathroom break on this card, that's gonna be a bathroom break. But
Yeah.
As far as the most intriguing, I'll go a different direction. I'll go with the Intercontinental title match with Zayn and Chad Gable. I just think that match has so many possible things that could happen and for that match, in that match, that you just don't know, and it's almost kind of exciting to see how things are the Alpha Academy going to finally walk away from Chad Gable, or are they going to align themselves and just get on board with Chad Gable, like you said, the Creed brothers, just all kinds of different things, different scenarios that could affect the outcome of that match. That it just kind of is very, very intriguing to me. So look forward to that one.
All right, Sarah, what do you think?
I'm on the same wavelength as Nick. I think the Bailey Piper Niven match I really don't care really about at all. Same thing with the women's tag belt match. Like we know they're not losing those belts. So but I definitely think Bailey and Piper Niven, that's the one that I'm like really looking forward to the least. But
Okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to see how Punk screws with McIntyre. It's going to be glorious. I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm gonna have a bowl of cheese popcorn, and I'm just gonna sit there and
I know. I'm going to mute myself
and
and just.
if I had Nick's personal number, I would just be texting him right there with my tablet, and I'll be
Right. I'm
um
so looking forward to it. And
right, exactly.
there's so many things that are up in the air though with that. 'Cause there's different directions that match can go in. The
Yeah,
same
right, yeah,
match, there's different directions that could go in as well. So
yeah.
those are
Anything is possible.
exciting. Exactly. Like those are the two really that I'm the most excited for because they're not predictable. We don't know, you can't really tell what's going to happen.
Right.
Because there's a bunch of different possibilities. So I
And
think
the
both
pendulum, and then yeah, and the pendulum could go either way. It could swing like you never know.
exactly.
Um, I think for me, the most intriguing is definitely the priest match. I think that is going to be the most intriguing thing I'm going to be watching with a fine eye. I'm going to watch that with a fine eye. Also, I think the least I'm going to agree with everyone on the panel. I think the Piper Niven match that's just easy. That's just real easy for me. I mean, we all know that she's going to retain. It's not like it's like a shock and awe or something like that. We're going to get no, because you need her to retain the title because her next dance partner is Nia Jax, and that will happen at SummerSlam. That's who she's going to dance with next, and that's it. Um, okay. I have one story for you all here tonight, and that is the former WWE and TNA creative team member R.D. Evans is now working with AEW per PW Insider. The site says that he worked last week's Collision, and he's expected to work Dynamite. So Tony Khan is expanding his writing team and he is hiring another writing person. Good job, Tony. Good job. Good job. Because you need a writing team. You need a live event team. And you need a lot of teams in your arsenal if you want to bring AEW to the forefront. Yes, you do. You can't tell me no. You need that right of team. And I don't want you all to come back to me and talk about, oh, you're doing this. No, no. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. I'm just giving you my opinion. Um, Nick, what do you think about this hire for AEW?
Yeah, I saw it a couple days ago whenever it was first posted and cycling through the wrestling Twitter. It's
Yeah.
a good move. Hopefully it improves and it starts to show. And hopefully that's what it'll be and not really make a difference. But good move for Tony and AEW.
Nick, Mac, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a good move. I mean, nobody's really had problems or take issue with the wrestling in AEW. I mean, put on phenomenal matches, but storylines have been lackluster at best, and I think this is a good move. Just anything to help improve your product.
Yeah. Sarah, what do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's great. You've got somebody that's proven, they know the wrestling business. They've worked in the wrestling business. They know how to write storylines for the wrestling business. So I think that it's a great move. It's a step in the right direction, and I hope we start, seeing the results of that soon.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Um, we we need quality wrestling from AEW. And if you can't give us that, then how are we going to invest in your program or your product? You have yet to use a sponsor for any of your pay-per-views, which is really shocking to me that AEW does not want to use a sponsor for their pay-per-views because that generates revenue for them. So I don't understand why they don't do that in its inception. But anyway, that's very shocking that they don't do that. Um,
Now be
and
careful when you say that, because if you're not careful, we're going to end up getting another Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match with
Oh
Jeff
my
Jarrett
God, that
defending
was
his title. So
bad.
just be careful with
Mm.
what you wish
Oh
for.
my God, that
I'm
match was
just putting that out there.
I already made. I on the wrestling experience. We did roast that match, and I did make a reference to what
Oh
it looked like. And you can go back in the archives.
my God.
You can go back in the archives and watch it. Yeah. Um,
Oh
so
my God, everything about it's terrible.
yeah. It was
And
bad.
nobody wants to see Jeff Jarrett on TV anymore either. Let's be real.
Right. I don't know which was worse, that match or that Usi Hot segment. I don't know which one was worse. I don't know which.
I just saw a clip of that
I
earlier
don't know
today.
which one was worse, that Usi Hot segment or the promo that Trish Stratus cut that Corn Husky's daughter. I don't know which one was worse.
Oh my
I
God,
swear.
that was bad too. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my God! I called that match, and Jeffrey was like, "Earl, please stop, please." I was like, and I said, I had to imitate her because it was ridiculous. The segment was ridiculous.
Bad.
She's blind, guys. Come on, guys. It was just like an 8-year old. It was so bad. That segment was so bad. It was the worst on Raw. It was the worst. I don't know who wrote that, but they should have been fired. They should have been
Kevin
done.
Dunn.
Yeah,
It was
they
probably
should have
Kevin
been
Dunn.
done. Oh my God.
Rest in
Oh
peace,
my
Kevin
gosh.
Dunn.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Beaver.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Anyway. But that was the wrestling experience. That was the wrestling experience. If you all have any questions in the chat for our panelists, please put it in the chat right now before we wrap the show up. And please give us your questions. We'll answer it to the best of our ability. We greatly appreciate it. But I want to thank Sarah. I want to thank Mac, and I want to thank Nick. No, those are not lawyers. Those are passionate wrestling fans, and you're watching the wrestling experience. And I thank you all so much for your time and energy. We greatly appreciate it. And again, I want to wish everybody a very happy Father's Day weekend. And I'm going to be back in cyberspace one more time on Friday night, and then we're going to move over to the Clash of the Castle. Oh, we got the Clash of the Castle this Saturday at 1:15. It'll be me. It'll be Orange Cassidy's bestie, Mitch Tulsky. Mitch Tulsky. And he's got the roundup. He's got the roundup. Like the giant fan will be in the building as well with us. We will all bring you the lovely Clash of the Castle. And that will happen on this Saturday at 1:15 Eastern Time. So, does anybody have a question? I guess not. Okay. Well, this show will be seen on Spotify. Don't forget, this show will now be seen on Spotify. This show will be uploaded on Spotify. And if you want to see the wrestling experience, all you gotta do, folks, is go on Spotify or the Hardcore Sports on my YouTube channel, or even Nick's channel, or even Mac's channel, and you could be part of it all. All you gotta do is just click on the rewind button and look at yourself on the wrestling experience, because this has been fun. And now next week, Josh is going to be here, and he's going to come on the wrestling experience, and he's going to help me and Sarah rewind the Clash of the Castle. That's all happened next Thursday here on the Hardcore Sports. And thank you all so much for your time, your energy, and your patience. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the wrestling experience. Again, I want to thank Hall of Fame Sarah, thank Hall of Fame Nick, and Hall of Fame Matt. And thank you all so much for your time and energy. And we'll see you later on the wrestling experience. And I'll be back in 24 hours with Friday Night SmackDown when me and Denise bring you Friday Night SmackDown from Glasgow, Scotland. So long, everyone, and thank you for your time. And have a great Thursday evening.